Body cam video has been released of the last sighting of a missing Cody woman. A judge says the former superintendent of education failed to act in good faith with a public records request. And Wyoming Wolverines are as elusive as Sasquatch. We'll take a look at these stories and more today from Wyoming's largest news organization. I'm Wendy Corr for Cowboy State Daily. Arkansas police have released body cam video of the last known sighting of Katie Ferguson, a Cody woman who's been missing for 2 months. Ferguson's boyfriend, Adam Aviles Jr., is in jail on a separate crime and is a suspect in her murder, but police agencies haven't announced a discovery of either Ferguson or her body. It was about 11 a.m. on October 5th in Truman, Arkansas, when a Truman Police Department officer approached a black SUV with its passenger side door open, according to a police body cam video sent to Cowboy State Daily on Saturday. That was the last time anyone saw Ferguson, who never arrived back in Cody with Aviles and their 2 young children. Investigators later found Aviles Durango abandoned in Park County on November 4th, smelling of putrefied blood and with a bullet hole in the door. Laramie County Judge Stephen Sharp made it clear in a court order Friday how important he considers a public records case involving former Superintendent of Public Instruction Brian Schrader and one of his leading staffers. Cowboy State Daily's Leo Wolfson reports that in the order, Sharp said Schrader failed to act in good faith in complying with state open records laws.
He believes this was proved multiple times throughout a series of hearings that have been held over the last few months. He doesn't believe that there's really any more needs to be issued on the case as far as penalties or anything like that, as he believes that the decision is damning on its own.
The lawsuit was filed by 2 attorneys this past spring, claiming they hadn't received the information they were entitled to about how Schrader planned a private political event and whether state money was used for it. The unsolved disappearance of Amy Roe Bechtel in 1997 remains one of the more baffling cases in U.S. history. The massive search launched when she vanished was like no other in Wyoming then or since. Cowboy State Daily's Jake Nichols remembers the case well.
It was the year I moved to Wyoming, 1997. I remember the missing posters and flyers. They were tacked up everywhere. Amy Roe Bechtel, gone girl. Went jogging in the mountains, never came home. Cops went straight to the husband. He lawyered up, stopped cooperating, bad for him. All the while, a real killer was known to be camping in the area where Amy disappeared from. A hideous monster, later suspected of being Wyoming's worst serial killer, was eventually convicted of raping and killing at least one young lady during that time period, maybe more. Maybe Amy. We may never know. Neither Dale Wayne Eaton or the husband will talk about it. And Amy, she's neither fully alive nor fully dead. She's a shadow, still gone after all these years.
I'll be back with more news right after this.
The weather's turning oh so frightful this time of year, but those excavation projects, they will persevere. I'm Jan Warren for One Call of Wyoming, here to remind you that no matter how big or how small your digging project is, contacting 811 2 full business days before you begin is required by state law. So stay safe unwrapping presents, not utility lines. From all of us at One Call of Wyoming, happy holidays.
Well, like Sasquatch, Wyoming Wolverines are so rare and elusive, even some biologists and devoted wildlife photographers say they've never actually seen one. Outdoors reporter Mark Hines reports that the tenacious animals are so widely dispersed, there's no real way of knowing how many Wolverines are in the state.
They're guessing somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 because that's the number of trail camera photos they got at their monitoring sites they set up in the winter of 21-22, which was the last time a monitoring survey of wolverines was done.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service recently listed wolverines in the lower 48 as a threatened species under the Endangered Species Act, citing habitat loss as one of the primary reasons. And it's fair to say that the gruesomely graphic How to Die in Yellowstone coloring book by Sheridan artist Andy Robbins is not for everyone. But Cowboy State Daily's Andrew Rossi writes that for that special someone who has a slightly darker sense of humor, it may bring Christmas joy for years to come.
Got inspired by the admittedly amusing warning signs in Yellowstone of the people falling through the fragile thermal areas. They're very serious warnings, and Andy Robbins thought those were amusing, so that's how he created Yellowstone National Park, a cautionary coloring book.
And that's today's news. You can get your free digital subscription to Wyoming's only statewide newspaper by hitting the subscribe button on CowboyStateDaily.com. I'm Wendy Corr for Cowboy State Daily.